Welcome to Commander Quickies, the series where we take a specific aspect of Commander and crunch it into a 5-minute easy-to-watch video. I'm BZ of the Nitpicking Nerds, and today I want to be talking about how to play Voltron decks. Before we get into how exactly to play these types of Commander decks, we need to define what Voltron means. Voltron is a style of play involving increasing the power of a single creature in order to deal lethal damage to your opponents, typically through attacking. What makes a Voltron commander good? They either need to have a solid form of evasion, like flying, trample, or unblockability, be difficult to remove, or be able to dish out a ton of damage at once. Some commanders can do several of these all at the same time. Let's look at a few of the best examples of Voltron commanders and evaluate them based on this definition. Rafik of the Many. This is one of the strongest and most popular Voltron commanders. Thanks to Rafik's ability to grant double strike to any creature that attacks alone, he doesn't need to be the one attacking your opponents. 4 mana also isn't a steep cost to pay. His decks can be built in several different ways, either by using equipment, enchantments, by pumping Rafik himself, or by pumping evasive creatures and playing Rafik to double their damage output on a key turn. His strength lies in his versatility and sheer damage output. Scion of the Ur-Dragon. Not every Scion deck is built as a Voltron deck, but this commander is extremely slippery as long as its controller has 1 or 2 activations to use. Depending on which dragons you throw into your 99, Scion can easily swing in for 21 commander damage, searching for creatures like Vitarka Worldrender, Scourge of the Throne, and Molten Steel Dragon. And if someone attempts to target it, you have dragons like Silumgar the Drifting Death and even Skithiryx the Blight Dragon to protect it. The powerful thing about this commander is that you don't need any other resources in play to execute your plan. Sigarda, Host of Herons. Sigarda is a very popular choice among Voltron commanders, mostly due to her annoying combination of flying and hexproof, along with the added bonus of being immune to sacrifice effects. She's safe to play as long as you're ready to handle a board wipe, and is commonly paired with enchantments, equipments, or +1/+1 counters to buff her power. Her biggest advantage is her natural evasion. So what cards do you typically pair with Voltron commanders? Voltron commanders are highly targeted at EDH tables due to their visibility in the command zone and straightforward playstyles. The most effective cards in Voltron strategies are often ones that can protect your huge creature from being removed, or ones that provide useful evasion for little investment. Here are some cards, both budget and non-budget, that we recommend for Voltron decks. Rishkar's Expertise. When the power of your commander matters, this card is an insanely strong boon for your deck. Often it draws you 10 or more cards, and lets you play another aggressive spell for free, easily worth the mana investment. Plus, if your average CMC is low, you'll be able to use any mana you have left over to deploy even more spells on the same turn. Stubborn Denial. This might seem cute, but Stubborn Denial is an extremely cheap counterspell that works as well, if not better than, Swan Song, if your commander is at 4 or more power. As a Voltron player, it is crucial that you spend all your mana each turn to maximize your aggression, so when you need to hold up a defensive spell, it's important that it be as cheap as possible. Rancor. If your commander doesn't have trample, and they are your plan for winning, I think Rancor needs to be in your deck. It looks like it isn't worth the card, but it's incredibly cheap, and once it's in play, it will always go back to your hand. It's especially good in Enchantress builds, but can easily slot elsewhere. For an investment of only a single mana, your commander can no longer be chump blocked, which goes a very long way in building up that lethal commander damage. Teferi's Protection. This is an obvious inclusion for white decks of almost any style, as it protects you from basically any threat imaginable. The primary use for a Voltron deck will be saving its huge creature from board wipes without altering the position of auras and equipment you might control. Heroic Intervention. This functions similarly to Protection, but is worse overall. It's still a pretty decent way to save your commander from a board wipe or single target removal spell, and requires you to hold up only 2 mana. Lightning Greaves. This is a staple of decks that want to protect their commander for one reason or another. This card can be awkward if you're trying to target your commander over and over with auras and equipment, so if you run that type of deck, I'd recommend Swiftfoot Boots instead. Finally, let's discuss some Voltron play patterns. Voltron decks need to get their threats out early and hammer as much commander damage in before the opponents can set up. Turns 1 through 4 are really when you want to be doing the most setup. Avoid sleeving up too many cards that cost 6 or more, and try to stick to cheaper plays that either buff your commander, draw cards, ramp, or protect your strategy. For example, for removal, I'd always play Nature's Claim before Krosan Grip to save on the amount of mana you need to hold up at any given time. You can't expect a commander game to go on without a board wipe or 2 that you weren't ready for, and many Voltron decks can crumble after the first board wipe. It's crucial to build your deck with this in mind. The turn after a board wipe is often a great opportunity for you to devote your entire turn to setting up for your next big move. If the board is wiped on turn 7, try to devote as much mana and resources as you can to ramping and drawing cards on turn 8, so that on turn 9, you can enter the fray as a huge threat again. If you just keep running out your commander without the resources to protect it, the game will fall out of your reach very quickly. That concludes our guide to Voltron decks. We defined Voltron, looked at 3 efficient examples of the strategy, discussed powerful examples of cards in the 99, and went over useful play patterns. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and catch the next Commander Quickie. Special shoutouts to our 10 patrons who make these videos possible. Peace out, Tribe Scout.